Here's a wild fact. If you've ever signed a contract, agreed to terms and conditions, or even heard the phrase innocent until proven guilty, you're directly connected to a Roman emperor who lived over 1,500 years ago. The fingerprints of ancient Rome are all over the rules and rights we take for granted today, shaping everything from our courtrooms to our daily lives. The legal systems of France, Germany, Japan, and even the state of Louisiana in the United States all trace their roots back to a monumental set of books compiled in the 6th century, the Justinian Code. This wasn't just a collection of laws. It was a revolutionary attempt to organize, clarify, and preserve centuries of Roman legal wisdom. This ancient legal code, known as the Corpus Juris Civilis, is the foundation of much of modern law. It gathered together laws, legal opinions, and principles that had guided Roman society for generations and set them down in a way that could be studied and applied for centuries to come. Its principles, covering property, inheritance, contracts, and personal rights, became the bedrock of Western legal thought. These ideas didn't just stay in Rome, they spread across continents, influencing the way societies understand justice, fairness, and the rights of individuals. When we talk about the rule of law, or the idea that everyone is subject to the same laws, we're speaking a language refined and championed by Emperor Justinian. His vision was to create a legal system that would outlast his own empire. His project didn't just serve his empire, it became a blueprint for future civilizations. Medieval scholars pored over his texts, Renaissance thinkers revived them, and modern nations built their legal codes on his foundation. The idea that laws should be organized, accessible, and written down for all to see wasn't always a given. It was Justinian's audacious vision that made it possible for ordinary people to know their rights, and for justice to be more than just a privilege of the powerful. To truly understand how this transformation happened, let's meet the man behind the code, Emperor Justinian, whose legacy still shapes our world today. Justinian I wasn't born into royalty. He was a peasant's nephew, brought to the bustling city of Constantinople by his ambitious uncle, who would eventually rise to become emperor himself. Growing up far from the luxuries of the palace, Justinian learned the value of hard work and perseverance, traits that would shape his reign and legacy. In 527 CE, Justinian ascended the throne, fueled by a relentless vision to restore the lost glory of the Roman Empire. He saw himself not just as a ruler, but as a restorer of a civilization that had once dominated the world. His ambition stretched far beyond the city walls, reaching into every corner of the old empire. Determined to reclaim what had been lost, Justinian launched a series of costly and ambitious military campaigns to win back former Roman territories. At home, he oversaw the rebuilding of the magnificent Hagia Sophia, transforming it into a symbol of imperial power and religious devotion. He also imposed strict religious uniformity, believing that unity and faith was essential for a strong empire. Yet Justinian understood that military victories and grand monuments were not enough to secure his empire's future. He recognized that the heart of a stable society lay in its laws, and that Rome's ancient legal system had become tangled and outdated. The legal system he inherited was a confusing patchwork of contradictory edicts, forgotten statutes, and overlapping decrees, a true threat to justice, order, and the unity he so desperately sought. Determined to bring clarity and order, Justinian set out on an unprecedented mission to create a single, unified legal code that would serve as the backbone of his empire and outlast his own reign. This monumental task was about more than just cleaning up old laws. It was about laying a solid foundation for the future, ensuring that justice and order would prevail for generations to come. Justinian's unwavering conviction and tireless work would ultimately lead to his most enduring legacy, a legal code that would influence civilizations for centuries. But before he could achieve this, Justinian faced the daunting challenge of untangling a legal mess that had been centuries in the making, a task that would test his resolve and shape the destiny of his empire. By Justinian's time, Roman law was a tangled mess, thousands of decrees and legal opinions, often contradicting each other. Judges and citizens faced a legal nightmare: outdated laws, conflicting rulings, and no clear guide. Lawyers could cherry-pick laws to suit their cases, fueling corruption and confusion. The imperial decrees clashed across centuries, while the writings of jurists offered millions of lines of conflicting advice. Legal proceedings were slow, expensive, and unpredictable. Few had access to all the necessary texts, making justice elusive for ordinary people. Justinian saw this chaos as a weakness unworthy of Rome's legacy. He knew a great empire needed a clear, consistent legal foundation. The time had come to bring order to the chaos, so he assembled a team to do the impossible. Justinian didn't just issue a decree, he built a legal dream team. In 528 CE, he appointed 10 top legal minds, led by the brilliant and controversial Tribonian. Their mission sift through centuries of imperial decrees, cut contradictions, and create a single authoritative code. Every law was read, debated, and transcribed by hand, no shortcuts. Tribonian had the authority to edit and even rewrite ancient laws to fit the empire's needs. In just 14 months, they produced the nearly 5,000 laws, organized and unified. The tangled mess was replaced by clarity, but this was just the start. Next, they tackled the even bigger challenge, organizing the vast writings of Rome's greatest jurists. The legal revolution was underway, and the results would change history. The Justinian Code, or Corpus Juris Civilis, is actually a collection of 4 monumental works, a legal library that would shape the future of civilization for centuries to come. Compiled under the direction of Emperor Justinian in the 6th century, this code was designed to bring order, clarity, and unity to the vast and complex laws of the Roman Empire. First, the Codex Justinianus, a comprehensive compilation of all valid imperial laws, carefully organized by topic for easy reference. It gathered centuries of imperial edicts into a single authoritative source. Second, the Digest, the distilled wisdom of Rome's greatest legal thinkers, edited into 50 books. This was a treasure trove of legal opinions, debates, and case studies, capturing the intellectual heart of Roman law. Third, the Institutes, a textbook for law students, laying out the basics of Roman law in a clear and accessible way. It served as the essential introduction for anyone beginning their legal education. Fourth, the Novellae, new laws issued by Justinian after the main project, many written in Greek to reflect the empire's changing language and culture. These updates kept the law relevant and responsive to new challenges. Together, these 4 works created a complete rational legal system that was both flexible and enduring. The Codex Justinianus unified the law, making it consistent across the empire. The Digest preserved centuries of legal reasoning and debate. The Institutes trained new generations of lawyers and judges. The Novellae kept the law current, adapting to the needs of a changing world. This remarkable package became the foundation for legal systems across Europe and beyond, influencing countries for over 1,000 years. It was more than just a code, it was a toolkit for building modern justice, a blueprint for fairness and order in society. But the real magic was in the Digest, where the brilliance of Roman legal thought truly shines through, offering insights and solutions that still inspire legal minds today. That's where Roman law's genius truly lived, and why its legacy endures in the laws of nations around the world. The was the heart of Justinian's project, a collection of arguments, principles, and definitions from Rome's top jurists. It preserves sophisticated debates on ownership, contracts, and justice, ideas still central to law today. Compiled in just 3 years, the distilled 3 million lines of text into a coherent whole. Tribonian's team had the authority to update and clarify the ancient writings, making them relevant for their time. The transformed law into a rational science, based on principles, not just precedents. When rediscovered centuries later, it inspired a legal revolution in Europe. The ensured Roman law would remain a living tradition. Its influence would echo through the ages. After Justinian's death, his empire crumbled, and his code faded in the West. For centuries that was nearly forgotten, surviving only in scattered manuscripts. Then, around 1070, a copy of thee was rediscovered in Italy. This sparked an intellectual revival. Scholars at Bologna began to study, debate, and teach Roman law. The University of Bologna became the legal center of Europe. The rediscovered code offered a blueprint for building modern societies. Glossators, legal scholars, wrote notes and explanations adapting Roman law to their own times. The movement spread, and Justinian's Code began its second life. From a forgotten manuscript, it became the foundation for Europe's legal rebirth. The ripple effects would reach far beyond the old empire. Bologna-trained students carried Roman law across Europe, becoming advisors, judges, and administrators. They created a shared legal language, that shaped local laws and government. The Catholic Church adopted Roman principles for canon law, spreading its influence even further. In France and Germany, Roman law blended with local customs, forming the civil law tradition. The Napoleonic Code, inspired by Justinian, spread these ideas worldwide. Even English common law absorbed Roman concepts, especially in contracts and maritime law. Through colonization and influence, Justinian's legal DNA reached the Americas, the Middle East, and beyond. Billions today live under systems shaped by this ancient code. From a single rediscovered book, the world's definition of justice was transformed. Today, the structure of our laws owes a profound debt to Justinian and his legal scholars. The idea that law should be rational, organized, and accessible is his enduring gift. Concepts like contract, property, and equity, tempering law with fairness, trace back to thee. The division between public and private law, still taught worldwide, was clarified by Justinian's Code. His work shaped the Renaissance, Enlightenment, and the legal frameworks of nations everywhere. The story of Justinian's Code is the story of how civilization builds on itself, and how the quest for justice never ends. Want to uncover more hidden histories? Subscribe for more.